Shalom. I want to give all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah. That's all honor, praise, and glory to the Most High God. In the name of His begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. We're going to get into our lesson, Proverbs 8. Our Proverbs series, you know what I'm saying? Lord willing, I get to go through the whole book of Proverbs. And I'm going to put in also maybe the whole book of Ecclesiasticus, the whole book of Baruch, etc. Those books, because those are the books dealing with the wisdom, and it's important that we pray for wisdom daily. Ask the Lord, to grant us wisdom and understanding and knowledge, because with that as a premier focal point with wisdom, we get understanding. With understanding, we can apply the proper understanding of the scriptures to our daily lives and to our family. You know what I'm saying? And we'll be able to move through the society. So, through receiving that wisdom, to getting that wisdom and applying that wisdom, we keep the law. We know how to maneuver through this society, through this wicked society. We know how to maneuver through our obstacles in our day to day. So Proverbs 8. Make sure everything is good. We get this Proverbs 8. Right? All right. We go right here. Forgive me. Salakia. Proverbs 8. Does not wisdom cry, and understanding put forth her voice? She standeth in the top of the high places, by the way, in the places of the paths. She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors. Right? Because when it's speaking of wisdom crying, that wisdom is the word. So where do we receive wisdom? Where are the prophets? Where did the Lord where did the Lord put the spirit on the brothers and sisters the brothers that's meant to be prophesying and teaching his word and ministering? He put them at the gates. He put them at the high places. He put them at the chief places of concourse. So that's where wisdom is. Wisdom, you receive it in the streets. You hear the wisdom of the Lord because you hear the prophets crying it out, right? O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be ye of an understanding heart. Hear, for I will speak of excellent things, and the opening of my lips shall be right things. For my mouth shall speak truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. So we got to make sure that, always kicking his wisdom out of our mouth, and anything that's wicked, that's an abomination. That's a vile and filthy thing. We got to keep that away from what we utter, right? All the words of our mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing froward or perverse in them. So you can't be like the froward man. You know what I'm saying? Like we was reading about in Proverbs 7th chapter. So everything is building on the last thing that's being said, right? They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. Receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice of gold. And think about it, right? Because you got somebody simple like, yo, I'd rather receive the money than receive instruction and knowledge. But in order to maintain the silver, in order to maintain the gold, you have to have knowledge and understanding, right? I got my fam coming through. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not to be compared to it. I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate. Counsel is mine, and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. By me kings reign through wisdom, right? In order for a king to have a position and rulership and authority, you're not going to have a simple king that's going to be able to get to that position. A king has to deal with a certain ordinance and a certain knowledge and understanding of how to rule a kingdom. So by me kings reign, by wisdom kings reign, by the Lord kings reign, right? And princes decree justice, right? By me princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. So you're not going to be a simple man in rulership. You're going to be a man that has knowledge. He's going to have wisdom, right? I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. Speaking of wisdom, riches and honor are with me, right? That's what comes with having the wisdom and knowledge and understanding. You get riches and you get honor, and people respect you, and you get riches. You get the riches of the world because you have the knowledge and wisdom to be able to create it, to maintain it, and if you lose it, be able to get it again. Yeah, durable riches and righteousness, durable riches, riches that you're able to maintain. So you got brothers that's out there, they go get that NBA deal, but they don't have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So what happens? You have basketball players that have $200 million contracts, like a Latrell Sprewell, or like I forgot my man's name that used to play in I think it was the Miami Heat. I think it's Antoine Walker, or I might be mistaken, but then they end up losing all their money. And look at Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, he was the richest boxer ever, and then he ended up losing all his bread because he didn't have that discipline. He didn't have the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. He wasn't able to maintain durable riches and be righteous. So now you see him coming back to this pseudo consciousness that he's on. He be wearing turbans, etc. But he if he was able to have that wisdom when he was in his youth, he would have put his family and himself in a better position moving forward. My fruit is better than gold, yeah, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. I lead the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment. So let me read that again. I lead the way of righteousness in the midst of the paths of judgment, right? That I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. The Lord possessed me in the beginning of his way. So the Lord had wisdom in the beginning, right? Before his works of old. So before there was anything established in the universe, the Lord had wisdom. He had understanding. He was the master architect. So he had the understanding before he created the universe. Wisdom was the premier thing that he had, and the wisdom of the Lord is beyond anything that we could imagine, right? I was set up from everlasting, from the beginning, or ever the earth was. So before the earth was here, wisdom was here, consciousness, understanding, those things were here. When there were no depths, I was brought forth. When there were no fountains abounding with the water. Before the mountains were settled, before the hills was I brought forth, while as yet he had not made the earth, nor the fields, nor the highest part of the dust of the world. When he prepared the heavens, I was there. So wisdom was there before anything, before the heavens, before the stars, before the earth, before the highest mountain, before the trees, before anything that you can see around you. That wisdom was there. Knowledge was there. Consciousness was there. When he established the clouds above, when he strengthened the fountains of the deep, when he gave to the sea his decree, that the waters should not pass his commandment. So the waters is moving in a certain the way that the waters move is through the ordinance of the Lord. So everything that applies in nature that we're seeing, that's what we're seeing an example of that. Anything that you see in nature is through the ordinance of the Lord. The Lord structured things to be a certain way. The birds fly a certain way. The bees have to pollinate a certain way. The water flows a certain way. The fish move in a certain direction. Everything that's instructed was instructed through the Lord. And before those things were instructed, the Lord was dealing with wisdom. When he appointed the fountains of the earth, then I was by him, as one brought up with him, and I was daily his delight, rejoicing always before him, rejoicing in the habitable part of his earth. And my delights were with the sons of men. Now therefore hearken unto me, O ye children, for blessed are they that keep my ways, right? Hear instruction and be wise, and refute it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates. So we supposed to always be at the gate of where wisdom is, and having that knowledge and understanding. That should be a chief thing in our life. That wisdom. This is the fundamentals. We're still early in this book of where we are in Proverbs, right? We're still early in the book of Proverbs. So, just having the understanding of wisdom is the chief thing, the beginning, right? For whosoever findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor in the Lord of the Lord. But he that sinneth against me, or transgress against wisdom, right, wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. So you're gonna receive death if you don't hearken unto wisdom, right? So we're gonna hit that Proverbs 9. So they built heavy on wisdom. This is heavy on wisdom. This is something that we gotta ingrain in our minds, right? In Proverbs chapter 9, wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars, right? And 7 represents completion, right? She hath killed her beast. She hath mingled her wine, right? 7 also represents days in the week, right? She hath also furnished her table. She hath set forth her maidens. She cried upon the highest places of the city, right? Whoso is simple, and let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding. He that reprove a scorner, getting to himself shame, right? He that rebuketh a wicked man, getteth himself a blot. What's a blot? And what's being spoken of here? A dark mark or a stain, typically one made by ink, so you get a spot, right? So it's like we're not supposed to, basically what's being said here, we're not supposed to entertain foolish men, right? If it's somebody who rejecteth, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, like, like when you think of the scriptures, just to get a little deeper into what's being said here, when you get into the scriptures, like, what man could argue against the scriptures? Like, every time you see somebody arguing against the scriptures, it's something very carnally based. It's a carnally based argument. You got brothers and sisters that deal against the scriptures. They argue in points like, oh, did Abraham ever exist? Did such and such ever exist? And, this book was written by a man, and those are the very carnally and vain and mundane aspects, right? But they never argue the wisdom, right? They never argue the principles, right? They never argue, the law. You know what I'm saying? You're never gonna hear an argument about the law unless if they are abominations themselves. A sodomite. A sodomite will argue against the law about not a man not laying with a man. You know what I'm saying? And that's a wicked man. That's somebody you reject off the rip, because they now, after they get the build that the Lord is not dealing with sodomy, and they still want to continue, and they reject that aspect of it. That's the type of person you definitely dismiss, right? But then, these people, majority of our people, they argue with very mundane points. So the scriptures say, he that reproveth a scorner, getting to himself shame, right? Because just having that dialogue is not fruitful. You're not going to gain nothing out of that, because they're not even trying to have an understanding. They're just trying to scorn. They're fulfilling their own need and lust, scorning against the scripture, because they want to be looking good in front of men a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Or they like to hear themselves talk, right? They feel gratification in trying to stump you, right? And he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee, right? So after you reprove him, after you shut him down, he gonna hate you, right? Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So somebody who got wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you're gonna tell them that they go off in the proper way, according to the thus saith the Lord. They're gonna love you because you showing them that light. You know what I'm saying? Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. teach a just man, and he will increase in learning, right? It's profitable. You wanna the words that come out of your mouth got to be profitable, right? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. The fear of the Lord, right? You're gonna fear the Lord's judgment. You're gonna fear sin, because sin equals death. So the beginning of wisdom is to fear the Lord. When you fear the Lord, you respect the Lord's commandments. You take the Lord's commandments seriously, because you understand that if you go and commit adultery, that you're going to be put to death, or things are going to happen bad to you in the society in one way or another. If you go and you sleep with your brother's wife, that brother is who's not abounded by the law, who doesn't respect the scriptures, he might come and take your life, and that'll be the judgment of the Lord on you if you die or if you live. But the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. It's just it goes on many levels, right? And the knowledge of the holy is understanding, right? And the knowledge of the holy, which is set apart, right? Holy, right? Holy means to be separate, set apart, right? Is understanding, right? For by me, thy days shall be multiplied by wisdom, right? And the years of thy life shall be increased. If thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou scorneth, thou alone shalt bear it. A foolish woman is clamorous. Let's see what clamorous means, right? Because, brothers and sisters, we both got different things that, that, what was the proper word to say, like ail us? I think the word is ail. Like, that, that affect us, right? So a foolish woman is clamorous, right? And it's interesting, because a lot of these scriptures, it hits right onto the point with a lot of our sisters, right? So we got clamorous, loud, and confused noise. So, loud, vocal, rowdy, shrieking, screaming, these are the characteristics of a lot of our sisters out here, right? So it says a foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple, right? And knoweth nothing. She thinks she knows. She thinks she and with that think you knowing comes pride. You know what I'm saying? So the foolish woman is all loud. She's simple and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city. So she feel like she on top of everybody, to call passengers who go right on their ways. Who is simple? Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understandeth, she saith to him, stolen waters are sweet. So she respect stolen waters, right? And bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Let's run that back, right? So we can get the understanding of what's being said there, because it's a little complex wordage there, right? So let's see it. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple, and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house on a seat in the high places of the city. Right? To call passengers who go right on their ways. Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understandeth, she saith to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, right? That man. See, this is interesting, because we're talking about wisdom in the form of a woman, right? And wisdom, and all the feature and all the attributes of wisdom. But also, similarly to this, the foolish woman also is being described on the other end, right? So, so basically, okay, whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, stolen waters are sweet, and bread is eaten in the secret is pleasant. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. So, like, through a foolish woman, through a foolish understanding, that's gonna lead to the depths of hell, right? You know, you think that a stolen water tastes better than regular water. You know what I'm saying? Parable, you know, like that. That's a parable. You know what I'm saying? Something that's not obtained righteously is better than the thing that's obtained wickedly. So that's what's being said there. So that's somebody who's dealing with a foolish understanding, taking heed to a foolish woman, right? I'm gonna keep going, man. Feeling good right now. I'm gonna keep it going in Proverbs 10. So, the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father. That's facts, right? But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother. Treasures, because women, you know, mothers worry. They worry so much. They're very, you know, our women could be very overbearing. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, having somebody, a foolish son who doesn't take heed to wisdom and understanding, that weighs a lot on the mother, right? Treasures of wickedness profited nothing, right? But righteousness delivereth from death. So the most profitable thing is, you know, living righteously, right? The Lord will not suffer the soul of the righteous to famish, but he casteth away the substance of the wicked. He becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. So you gotta work hard, man. If you don't work, if you don't put in that work, then you're gonna deal in poverty. You know what I'm saying? But the hand of the diligent maketh rich, right? He that gathereth in the summer is a wise son, but he that sleepeth in the harvest is a son that causeth shame. So we got to raise up our sons to value work, and, you know, always pitch a hand, and you know, be an example to the son growing up. Like my father, he used to wake up 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and he showed me, you know, real work ethic. So he was always, he went to go drive his truck, and then, you know what I'm saying, heavy labor, you know, for years, more than 20 years he was doing that job, and he was consistent, and he wasn't, you know what I'm saying, he only took days off if he was really sick. You know what I'm saying? He was always about hard work ethic. I learned that from my pops at an early age. And then my father had businesses, and we used to have to work in the truck, and then, you know what I'm saying, we used to have to pack the clothes and whatever we was doing at different times, and my father had different businesses, but we always had established that work ethic early, and we were shown to work. You know what I'm saying? So we got to instill that in our sons, a proper work ethic. Blessings are upon the head of the just, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot, right? The only thing wicked brother gonna have is a RIP mural, and the RIP mural is gonna get tagged up by the next generation, so you don't really got nothing. You're gonna have a memorial that's gonna be destroyed, you know. So the Lord is only dealing with the memory of the just. The memory of the just is through his fruits. You know what I'm saying? The people that he inspired and taught. You see, like in Israel, you see the memory of the elders, you know, that passed away. You know, their memory lived on because they taught men. You know, they taught men the scriptures and the proper understanding of the scriptures, the 7 elders. You know what I'm saying? So their memory is going to live on through us, because we came from them, and we learned scriptures through men that they taught in my generation, through men that they taught, and then those men taught us. So those memories of those elders is going to live on through us. So my son, when he gets up, I'm going to tell him about my first elder Shah Gabar, and then I'm going to tell him about the elder Masha, you know, through the house of David. I'm going to show him that these were the men. I could show him pictures and whatever of the men that came before, and those men sacrificed, and they put that time in to teach us, right? And then we came and we got inspired through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and we were able to continue the ministry and expand our ministry, right? So we gotta tell our children those stories, and that's part of how the memory of the just is blessed, right? The wise in heart will receive commandments, right? But a prating fool shall fall. Let's look up the word prating, right? So prate. Prating fool, to talk foolishly or at tedious length about something. At a tedious length. I heard him prat on for at least an hour and a half talking about nothing, right? Long talk, idle chatter. So we shouldn't be idly chatting about, junk, right? I think I might even fall in that category sometimes, dealing with worldly conversation, you know what I'm saying? The wise heart will receive commandments, but the prating fool shall fall. He that walketh uprightly walketh surely, but he that perverteth his way shall be known, right? He that winketh with the eye causeth sorrow, right? When you wink in your eye, like if you got a subliminal motive, you know what I'm saying? But a prating fool shall fall. The mouth of a righteous man is a well of life, but violence covereth the mouth of the wicked. Hatred stirreth up strifes, but love covereth all sins. So that's a fact. Remember, hate is means to strongly dislike. So when you strongly dislike, you stir up a strife and contentions, right? But love covereth all sins. In the lips of him, and love is keeping the commandments. The commandments are love, right? In the lips of him that hath understanding, wisdom is found, right? But a rod is for the back of him that is void of understanding. So somebody's gonna receive a rod in their back, figuratively speaking. You know what I'm saying? When they're not dealing with that understanding. Wise men lay up knowledge, but the mouth of the foolish is near destruction. The rich man's wealth is his strong city. The destruction of the poor is their poverty. Right? The labor of the righteous tendeth to life, the fruit of the wicked to sin. He is in the way of life, that keepeth instruction. But he that refuseth reproof erreth. He that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth a slander is a fool. So we got to make sure we're not, sometimes we can get caught up with this, you know what I'm saying? Just dealing with Jake worldly conversation. Sometimes, depending on who you are surrounded by, sometimes it'll cause you to error, you know what I'm saying? When you chilling in the midst of righteous brothers, you're not gonna utter slander. You're not gonna have lying lips, you know what I'm saying? When you chilling with the righteous men. But sometimes we be dealing with Jake. I know this happens to me. Sometimes I might even say something just real carnal, and I gotta check myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta, we can't speak of another man's life, you know what I'm saying? We can't make a judgment on a brother, on a carnal judgment, you know what I'm saying? We gotta come back into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you know what I'm saying? It should, remember, when you utter a slander about somebody to somebody, how are they gonna perceive you? You know what I'm saying? How is that person gonna perceive you? They're gonna think that you talk about them too, you know what I'm saying? So, you got to check yourself. And even when men are speaking and they utter a slander about another brother carnally behind that person's back, you should check that brother. You should be like, nah, man, we don't talk about nobody when they're not present. Hit them with that dagger, because that shuts it down. And then they're going to see, okay, that's a real one right there. You know what I mean? Or they might hate knowledge, and then they might reveal themselves afterwards, right? So then you know who to keep away from, and who not to after you gave them that rebuke. Either they're gonna, they're gonna be either they're gonna take heed and be wise, or they're gonna disregard and fall into their wickedness. And that's how you know who to separate from these things. You know what I'm saying? Keeping the ordinance, right? In the multitude of words there wanted not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. The tongue of the just is as choice silver. The heart of the wicked is little worth. Right. The tongue of a just man is rare. You know what I'm saying? Wicked, you can find anybody wicked outside. The wickeds of the lips of the righteous feed many. Right. The words of a righteous man. You know what I'm saying? They could take heed and follow, but fools die for want of wisdom, right? The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. It is as a sport to a fool to do mischief, right? That's a fact. They take pleasure into doing wicked acts. I used to be one of those men, right? But a man of understanding hath wisdom. The fear of the wicked, it shall come upon him, but the desire of the righteous shall be granted. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more. But the righteous is as an everlasting foundation. As vinegar to the teeth, and as smoke to the eyes, so is the sluggard to them that send him. The fear of the Lord prolongeth days, but the years of the wicked shall be shortened. The hope of the righteous shall be gladness, but the expectation of the wicked shall perish. The way of the Lord is strength to the upright, but destruction shall be to the workers of iniquity. So this is just the same point being reiterated in different ways, so that way you can get the understanding that wickedness is leading you to death. The righteous shall never be removed, but the wicked shall not inhabit the earth. The mouth of the just bringeth forth wisdom. And you can see this today, man. The wicked, they destroying themselves. Their abortions and the different things that these wicked men are putting on the earth. All they doing is in their moment of greed, they getting a short-term benefit, but in the long run their generations are going to be destroyed. The Most High going to make sure that their generations is destroyed. But the froward tongue shall be cut out. The lips of the righteous know what is acceptable, but the mouth of the wicked speaketh frowardness. And just to get back into that definition of frowardness for this lesson, even though I covered that in the last video. So a froward person is a person difficult to deal with, a contrary person, right? So with that being said, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of his begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And with that, I say shalom.